Jeff, the Hornet Horn!
With two good shots on Mundine and he forced it back into the ropes.
Fired back with a left of his own.
Horn is not giving Pacquiao an inch in there.
The most unlikely victory you have ever seen. The Hornet Horn!
Siren Blue, baby.
Yo guys, it's your boy the Purist and we're here to talk boxing. Today we have special guest, former welterweight WBO world champion Jeff Horn. Jeff, how are you?
I'm good. I'm loving life.
Yeah. I see it was your birthday recently. Happy belated birthday. How'd you spend it during lockdown?
Oh, well, we weren't really in lockdown when it was my birthday celebrated here. And I just saw family, caught up with them. Pretty much just had like a real down low birthday. Didn't really do too much.
You still live in your hometown right now, right? Brisbane, Australia.
Yep, that's right. I live in Brisbane. Beautiful place to live.
How was it growing up there?
Yeah, good. I feel like we've got no COVID cases at all at the moment that I know of, and life seems really back to normal here.
Yeah, that's good. Growing up, did you have many influences in boxing?
Not really, to be honest. I probably wasn't really into boxing when I was younger. I probably picked up a little bit, watched a few fights in my high school years, and watched a bit of like just the main fights that were going on around that time. That was probably Pacquiao was definitely one of them. So I found it pretty exciting when I actually got to fight him in the end.
How old was you when you decided to take up boxing?
Well, I started training. My first training experience was I was 18. So, but I didn't start boxing till I was probably 19.
Okay, what year would that have been?
Good question. 2006.
Yeah, because I read that you won amateur titles in 2009 in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so literally 3 years into your amateur career, you became a champion. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was awesome, and it happened all very quickly for me. I guess I trained for about, I don't know what it was, about 9 months before I had my first fight, and then had my second fight not long after at the state titles, and ended up winning that. So yeah, it all happened very quickly from there. Then I went to Australian titles, and then world title trials, and all those type of things.
Was you at university when you started boxing?
Yes. I was in. What was I? I think I was in TAFE. I was in TAFE when I started boxing.
Okay, so you was boxing through university, you winning world titles and winning amateur titles and going to classes the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
How did your friends feel when you were telling them I'm just going to start taking up boxing?
Look, they didn't really have anything against me doing it. I guess it was giving me a bit of confidence, which I feel like I needed probably at the time, especially going through a bit of stuff at high school. Not that it was too damaging, but my confidence was probably very low, and it just was able to spike that up a little bit.
Yeah, you've spoken before how you were bullied during school. Have you ever seen those people used to do it? Have you ever had a conversation with them?
Yeah, I think I have had a little bit, but look, there's people that I considered probably bullied me a little bit throughout school. I ended up friends with them, some of them, not all of them, throughout the end of high school. So I guess I didn't have the worst experience, but I definitely copped a bit from a few different people at different times of my high school life.
You said you started boxing in 2006. By 2012, you was an Olympian. How did it feel to represent your country in the Olympics?
the Olympics was an amazing experience. I can remember walking out for the opening ceremony. And that was just like mind blowing with all the yellow tracksuits, all the people that I'd been watching since I was a young kid. I was walking out with these amazing athletes that I'd looked up to, and it was a pretty amazing and surreal experience.
Was he the captain of the Australian team though?
No, Luke Jackson was the captain of the Australian boxing team. And I think there was a full 10 of us that went.
Okay. Do you feel like you gained valuable experience during the fights as well?
Yeah, definitely. I learned a lot in my amateur boxing career. I think I had 66 amateur fights. A lot of those were overseas against very tough competition, and the Olympics was at the pinnacle of that. I was versing the best guys there, and I guess you learn more from your losses than you do your wins. And I think I versed Dennis Berenchik in the quarterfinals, I think, and he ended up beating me. But I got valuable experience from fighting a guy like that and the pressure style that he brings.
So even your style, you seem more suited to the pro game. You're quite rough and tough, like to get on the inside, throw a lot of punches. So was that transition from the amateur game to the pro ranks easy for you?
Yeah, I feel like the transition for me, just because of my style, as you said, I probably like to get in there and use my body strength more than others, and the less outside fighting, and I like the inside fighting, and I'm able to do that a lot better as a professional than as an amateur.
You won a lot of regional titles very early in your career. Coming off the back of the Olympics, were you starting to get recognised a lot when you went out and just in general?
Maybe a tiny little bit more with the Olympics, but not really. Like, it would be very, very rare. I guess it would be like, I guess anyone, someone eventually notices you and says hello because of it. But yeah, it didn't spike my popularity much, especially because I didn't medal probably at the Olympics either.
Fair enough. But when you fought Randall Bailey, that helped put you on the map. Can you talk about that fight and that experience?
Yeah, look, it was a risky fight to take. That's basically my whole career has been risky fights after risky fights, but I was prepared for it. I knew he was a hard puncher, and I was just kind of trying to stay away from his bombs because I knew he could throw them. And I didn't get away from all of them because he got me with one. I think, I can't remember what round it was. He hit me that hard. I can't remember. But yeah, he's got bloody lead in those hands. That's for sure, Randall Bailey. And I'm glad I was able to recover from that. He did perforate my eardrum when he hit me and knocked me down. I lost all my balance, but was able to recover back and probably win majority of the round that he knocked me down in.
A lot of people from the UK and the US, they won't really know Randall Bailey. So how would you compare his power to the likes of Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford?
Oh, look, that's a hard one. I guess Randall's got a different punching style. Like, everyone's got different punches, I guess. Pacquiao's a lot sharper and joltier punches, and probably similar with Crawford as well. I think Randall Bailey's were definitely probably one of the heaviest punches I've faced. Because once he lands, I guess he's just putting everything into that one punch, and that's probably one of the hardest punches I've felt.
After that, you went and fought Ali Funeka. Did you know going into that fight that if you had won, you would have got an opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao?
Well, I heard that was the case with Bob Arum there. That's what I was getting told. But I never held high hopes in the boxing game with what comes through with things. I've certainly learnt that in the past. But I was kind of thinking, oh, yeah, cool. Like, it would be great to get that opportunity. But I never actually thought it was going to be reality until I got the phone call saying that Manny Pacquiao's considering you for a fight. Will you take it? And I was like, hell yeah.
How did it feel to actually get signed the contract and say, all right, I'm going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao?
Look, it was a dream come true, I guess. As I said before, I didn't think that was going to happen, and I was elated with get the opportunity, and there was no way I was going to be turning it down.
Going into the fight, many people wrote you off. A lot of us had never heard of you, but going into the first round, it seemed that you made him very uncomfortable. He didn't know where his distance was. You pressed him. He kept going on the back foot. And one thing I noticed a lot is Manny was smiling a lot, even when he was getting hit. It's like he didn't really know what to expect. What was the game plan going into it to make him so uncomfortable?
Look, it's just to fight my style, I guess, and I knew Pacquiao's style was to come forward and to throw use his in and outs and throw his big punches, but I knew if I was to able to smother that and actually use that against him, because I was bigger, I was like, if I've got that in and out style I can use against him and push forward, he's not going to be able to do it back to me. So that was probably the main strategy, is to take basically his biggest strength that he uses against him, and that worked a treat.
Yeah, I think it was like the first 6 rounds, I gave him the majority of them. But once he hit, like, I think the 7th and 8th, he started to come back and really put his foot down in the fight. I think it was the 9th or 10th round where he started landing a lot of left hands, and I think that's when your face got bloody.
Yeah.
What was going through your head when that was happening?
Yeah, look, he did land a fair few good punches on me, that's for sure, in the later rounds. There was a lot of head clashes as well, which probably caused my face to look like a bit like Elephant Man. But it was a tough fight, though. He did land a couple of big shots on me, especially in that round 9. I always tend to, for some reason, I have no idea, run out a bit of gas around that time. And luckily enough, I was able to manage to fight through that, and I was good. I was sweet. I had got my second win and was able to win the 10th, 11th, and 12th round.
That's what I'm about to say. Literally, after having your worst round of the fight in round 9, you came back in round 10 and won the round, to me, very convincingly. What was it that gave you that belief to not sort of give up, but just go out there and win the next round straight after?
Look, I guess I had a dream when I was younger, like a lot of us probably do, was to become world champion. But I truly believed I could do it. And especially going through that fight, I felt like I'd won majority of the rounds to that point. And I was like, well, this is my future. My future is in my hands right now. And I can either give this back to this guy or and fall down and take the knee and basically quit, or I can keep fighting, keep pushing forward, and go for my dreams. And that's exactly what I did.
Obviously, when you've just beat Manny Pacquiao, that's like the greatest achievement of your life. Most people won't ever achieve something so great. How did it feel when Teddy Atlas was so abrasive to you after the fight?
Oh, look, nothing was going to affect me after the fight. I was just so happy. I knew I'd won the fight, so I really wasn't. His comments just I kind of like ignored anyway. I was just like, what are you talking about? But I still think he must have had something on the fight or something to make him be so on Pacquiao's side, because there was no way anyone watching that could actually say that Pacquiao was winning majority of those rounds.
After that, you had a title defense against Gary Cochran. It was reported that you and Manny Pacquiao meant to have a rematch. Why was it that the rematch never happened?
He didn't want it. He didn't want the rematch. I was happy to go back and do that rematch again, but I think he knew it was going to be a lot of tough work, and he wasn't going to get what he wanted. Look, he could potentially come back and maybe take me more seriously and get the win. Who knows? But I guess that's going to be a question mark over his career as to what that happened, because a lot of people have said that he won the fight. I say with quotation marks there that he's never going to be able to probably fix that up unless there is a rematch. But look, I'm happy. I'm happy either way. I'm happy taking the victory, I guess, and I know I've won, and that's the end of it.
Life might not have changed too much after the Olympics, but after beating Manny Pacquiao, things must have been very different.
Oh yeah, definitely. I guess the fame after beating Manny Pacquiao It was just crazy here in Australia. A lot of people then knew who I was. I was going on TV shows and things like that. It was just a whirlwind. It was another world basically I'd stepped into. It was like this reality that you watch people on TV. We're all normally doing it on our couch, and then all of a sudden I've stepped through on the other side, and I'm one of these people that's on this television show that if everyone wants to talk to. It just felt like an absolute weird time of my life, but I was just so happy and proud of what I've done, and yeah.
So a lot of people, they don't understand how big the boxing scene is in Australia and New Zealand. Once you become a star out there, you're a big, very big star. Even your homecoming title defense against Gary Cochran, you saw that very quickly for that fight, didn't you?
Yeah, look, everyone was very interested after my fight with Pacquiao, and a lot of people wanted to see what I could do and take on another guy and defend my world title. And I chose a tough guy, which was Gary Cochran, and he definitely gave me a tough fight. And luckily, I think I was able to get him out of there in round 9, which is normally my voodoo round.
The next fight after that, you have to fight mandatory challenger Terence Crawford. How was it like to fight another one of the best fighters of your generation?
Look, it was pretty cool, I guess, if you can say getting punched in the head is cool. Look, he's a very good fighter, Crawford, and I felt like going into his territory, I probably didn't do everything correct in the lead up to that. I probably could have kept myself away and trained a bit more privately and gone over to the US earlier to acclimatise. I probably just would do a few things a little bit differently if I was to ever do that again. So, but he definitely took it up to me, Crawford. He was a very, very skillful fighter, and look, the same thing could happen again if I was to fight him again. But yeah, he definitely had some good skills there.
After that fight, you had another blockbuster fight against Anthony Mundine. How did that fight come about?
I think, well, Mundine called for it. Mundine's, I guess, the man. He calls himself the man. He likes to say he's the best, and I guess the spotlight was on me at that time with beating Pacquiao, and Mundine probably was like, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm the man. I'm the best. Let's see if you can beat me first before we start talking you up too much." And that's probably why the fight happened. And I knew Mundine was a very popular fighter in Australia, and everyone was going to be excited to watch that fight take place.
I actually thought Mundine had retired before that fight. And when I heard it was announced, the first thing I did was bet a lot of money on you knocking him out. How confident were you that you were going to beat him up?
Yeah. Well, look, I thought it was going to be a hard, tough fight. I didn't know how it was going to go. I thought I was going to win, but I definitely didn't think I was going to be able to knock him out that quickly in the fight.
Yeah, I think he's still had a few fights since then. I don't know if he's run out of money or something, but it seems weird that he's fight.
I don't think that's possible. I think Mundine's worth a fair bit of money. He's made a lot of money in his time. But look, he's a very generous man that I know of. I know he gives a lot of his money away, and maybe he just does need a little bit more, but surely not. I think he just loves fighting. He loves the fight game, and he just wants to keep proving himself, especially against these young guns like Michael Zerafa, which I think he's crazy, Mundine, wanting to take Zerafa on at this point in his career, because I've seen Mundine probably diminish a bit ever since, especially fighting me. He's been going downhill for a while now, and look, I can only wish him the best, because I don't want him to be affected, I guess, mentally and physically from the fight game, which probably is already starting to happen to him, but he keeps on taking these hard, tough fights, which are going to keep deteriorating his health if he keeps getting knocked around.
Speaking of Michael Zerafa, that's someone you had 2 fights with. Can you talk about what went wrong in the first fight and how you adjusted and made it right in the second one?
Look, the first fight, I probably took him a little bit lightly. It's not that I trained. I didn't train hard for it. I still trained hard. But I just probably thought I was going to win. it was going to be a comfortable victory. And I knew before this never to underestimate someone, but it's just easy, just a little bit, just to kind of take your edge off a little bit. And I just underestimated him, and I paid the ultimate price of that, which was losing a world title shot against Murata. I think I was going to be able to get that shot, and that was basically gone. And yeah, I was like, I really wanted to get that back, so that's why the rematch happened. I had a rematch clause with him, and I treated him with a lot more respect the second time. He's a big, strong guy, Michael Zerafa, and he is to be respected, and that's exactly what I did, and made sure I beat him the second time.
Last summer, you had a fight with Tszyu, son of Costa Tszyu. Could you talk about that fight and how far you think Tszyu can go?
Look, it's kind of... I don't feel like I was at my best in that fight, so it's hard for me to kind of judge him from my experience with him. But look, he is very good. I'd still like to see him get tested a little bit more before he takes on probably a real world title challenger. But look, he's definitely climbing up there, and hopefully he can make it and make a world champion one day. But yeah, it's hard for me to judge.
We've seen you at your best days at 147. You've moved up since then. So what's next for you? Are you considering retirement, or are you going to still make one more push to become a world champion again?
Look, I'm basically in limbo at the moment. I don't know what I want to do. You could have seen me in my last fight. I could have another fight. I've always said I'm not retiring until I'm 35, and that's still a few years, well, only a couple of years away now. And I don't know, maybe I might get the desire in the next couple of years to get back in there and have another fight. Or I might be happy just to lay back and retire from boxing and concentrate on other things. But I'm just letting time do its magic, and hopefully I get an answer with that in the future.
All right, we're going to ask you a few fan questions that we got off Instagram.
Yep.
Naim Gafford asks, what was it like trying to balance a university degree with an amateur boxing career?
Look, it was very difficult having to do that. It was a very busy time in my life. I was working as a childcare worker. I was going to university, doing exams and assignments, and trying to fit in boxing training around that. So for the Olympics, so it was a very busy time and a hard time in my life. And basically, I didn't have a spare moment, except probably for a few hours at maybe night time. And probably not even because I was doing my assignments. So it was just an extremely busy part of my life.
Who hits harder, Pacquiao or Crawford? Asked by Down Seth.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think they have a different. As I was saying with Randall Bailey, he probably hits the hardest. But those guys both hit very similar. They're both sharp. They're hard. Both are hard punch, and they're both very sharp punches. So. That's a hard one to answer. I don't really want to... I probably can't remember very clearly anyway, but I don't really want to stand there and take a punch from both of them, one after each other, to find out exactly.
Kirby18 asks, what is the career highlight?
Definitely Manny Pacquiao. That was a dream come true. I always wanted to be a world champion, and yeah. I was able to verse one of the guys that I looked up to in the sport, which is Manny Pacquiao, and I was getting risen above the shoulders of my teammates at the end of that, and to this day it still gives me goosebumps when I talk about that moment, and yeah, that was definitely the highlight of my career.
Of course, you said you're not really looking to retire soon, but when you step away from the boxing ring, do you have any plans or things you want to go into after?
Yeah, look, I've started with a couple of business partners of mine an anti-bullying program called AMADA, and it stands for the Australian Martial Arts Youth Development Alliance. And that's a program we're trying to get in every school, because I feel like that's where majority of bullying probably happens and starts and is learnt from kids. And if we can teach people the kids' self-respect and how to defend themselves, a lot of these health issues and problems won't happen in later life if they're able to learn these values during their teenage years.
It's good to see, because most boxers, once they retire, they do things that are self-fulfilling. It's good to see you giving back to the community and doing things for others.
Yeah, look, it's something that I guess touched me when I was a kid, and I wish I had a program like this. I guess boxing changed my life, and not that the program is boxing specific, but it's just, I guess, learning the power of what you can do with your body and how you can protect yourself if you ever get in trouble.
Thank you for coming on and doing this interview with us. Is there any message you want to give to the fans?
Not overly, I guess. I could be back in the ring soon. Who knows? But if not, thanks for watching me in my career, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Is there any fighter where if their name came up, you'd instantly want to get back in the ring?
Oh, look, if Pacquiao wanted that rematch, I think that would be one that I would definitely consider and probably say yes to. Any other fight, I'm not sure if I'd say yes.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on to the podcast, champ. We appreciate your time.
Too easy. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time.